Okay, so this is a recorded video for value added tax. Okay, so from your previous discussion, medyo napahapyawan natin yung value added tax. Okay, so in some ways, medyo review lang po itong handout na to. Okay, scope of VAT on sales. Okay, the VAT covers all sales of goods. Hmm, wait lang po. Okay, the VAT covers all sales of goods and properties and services or lease of properties other than VAT exempt sales and services specifically subject to percentage tax. Okay? So, lahat cover niya sales of goods and services except for VAT exempt sales at saka those that are subjected to percentage taxes. VAT is a consumption tax imposed on sale, barter exchange or lease of goods, properties, and services in the ordinary course of business. Okay? And number two, it is imposed on importation of goods into the Philippines, yung VAT on importation, which we discussed on module number 2. Okay? Okay. So ano nga ba yung conditions natin to be considered as a VAT registered person or a VAT registrable person? Kailangan mag-exceed ka kung self-employed or employed into business ka. Kaya ang VAT threshold natin is 3 million pesos and for franchise, 10 million pesos gross sales or receipts. Okay? So tingnan natin yung illustration. ABC is a VAT registered taxpayer with sales not exceeding the VAT threshold in any 12-month period. O, nagpa-register siya. Okay? The company shall pay VAT on its vatable sales or receipts regardless if it is below the threshold kasi nga nagpa-register sa ABC company. Voluntary registration, optional registration ang tawag dyan. And then, letter B, Mr. X is a non-VAT registered taxpayer. Non-VAT registered siya exceeded the VAT threshold on August 2029. Nag-exceed siya nung August. So, meron siyang until September para magpa-register. Okay? He reported 200,000 sales in September 2019. Mr. X will pay the VAT for on his sales effective September 2019. Kasi ang rule again natin is after mong na-reach yung VAT threshold, the month after that, you should register as VAT registered taxpayer. Or else, kailangan mo magbayad na starting from the next month ng VAT payable mo. Okay? Okay. Tignan natin yung mga example. Taxpayers with mixed types of sales. Okay. A department store had the following sales for the 12-month period. Meron daw tayong binenta sa department store na fertilizers, fruits and vegetables, groceries, clothing, shoes, and other apparels and furnitures. Ayan yung amount nila. So from these items, alin ba dito ang vatable sales? So, syempre alam naman natin ang fertilizer, seeds, poultry, and hog feeds are exempt. Tama ba? As well as fruits and vegetable kasi these are basic necessities. Your groceries are included as vatable sales. Included din ang yung clothing, shoes, and other apparels. At saka ang furniture. Kaya nga 'di ba 'pag nag-grocery kayo sa SM, merong VAT, oh 'di ba? Pero kapag tinignan niyo yung itemized na items sa SM sa resibo ninyo, kapag bumili kayo ng fresh fruits and vegetables that is VAT exempt. Included po diyan yung mga itlog which is part of your poultry. Okay? So from this case, hindi naman required sa department store na magpa-register as a VAT registered entity kasi yung mga items, yung mga income niya are not all considered as vatable. Ang vatable lang niya is 1.8 million and it's not exceeding the 3 million threshold. Thus, pwede pa rin siyang mag-opt sa 3% percentage tax. Okay? Taxpayer with multiple businesses. As of September 30, 2019, Mr. Jose had the following gross receipts from his professional practice and his other businesses in the immediately preceding 12 months. So meron siyang gross receipts from restaurant, from barbershop, taxi cab operations, and from professional practice. So alin ba dito yung mga subject to VAT? Okay? So kasama dyan yung from restaurants, from barber shops, and from professional practice. Hindi kasama yung taxi cab operation. Remember your BiCab flow. Ang taxi cab operations is nagfo-fall siya sa land carriers, o 'di ba? Naghahatid ng tao yung taxi, 'di ba? Tao naman ang hinahatid niyan through land. Okay? So hindi yan kasama sa vatable sales. So yung 2.2, 800,000 at 1 million lang ang kasama sa ating vatable sales, which is 4 million pesos. Okay? VAT model. So, paano ba natin kino-compute ang VAT payable? Okay. So, we have output VAT. Output VAT is the VAT being charged by us towards our customers. Okay? So, ito yung china-charge natin kasama ng ating sales. Your input VAT is yan yung idinideduct natin from the output VAT. Input to VAT is the VAT na nakuha natin from VAT registered businesses through our purchases. Okay. Paano kapag yung purchases mo is walang VAT? Like, hindi VAT registered yung pinagbilhan mo. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka makiklaim ng input VAT. Kasi ang input VAT basically should come from those VAT registered entities. So, it is better kapag ikaw ay may business, mag-purchase ka at ikaw ay VAT registered taxpayer at mag-purchase ka from those suppliers na VAT registered para ma-claim mo yung input VAT. Kasi 'di ba, pabawas din siya sa payable mo. And then your output less input, that will be your payable. And then kung meron kang tax credits or payments, kunwari meron kang overpayment from past period or meron kang input VAT na wala kang mapag-charge ng output VAT, pwede mong i-claim yan dito. Right? Tax credits. Ito yung mga receivable natin from the government. And then, yun na lang yung magiging payable mo. Payable kapag positive, kapag negative overpayment ka. Okay? So, output VAT tayo. Meron tayong separate discussion for output VAT. Medyo pahapyaw lang to. Okay, output VAT is the VAT passed on to customers or clients by VAT taxpayer, dapat VAT taxpayer, on his sales to customer. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang nag-charge po nito, ang nangungulekta nito is si seller towards its customer. Okay? The output VAT can be imposed and recognized when there is a sale, actual or deemed sale. Okay, when you say actual, talagang nangyari yung bentahan. Pag sinabing deemed sale, it's hindi siya ex- explicitly stated na sale, pero talagang nagkaroon ng bentahan. Hindi lang nila pinapalabas. Okay? Madidiscuss natin to sa second video natin or sa next video natin, which is output VAT. Okay? And number two, there is the seller taxpayer is VAT registered. Yung nangungulekta ng output VAT should be VAT registered. Okay? The output VAT may be subjected to different rates. Meron tayong regular output VAT na 12% of domestic sales. Kapag goods or properties, it is gross selling price and basis. Kapag services, gross receipts. Gross selling price and gross receipts. And then we also have zero-rated output VAT. Zero-rated output VAT usually from export sales yung mga yan. Okay, to encourage nga yung export industry ng Philippines. Okay? And then we also have the second part of our VAT is the input VAT. It is the VAT paid on local purchases of goods and services. Okay? So kung titignan ninyo, yung output VAT is considered a liability while the input VAT is an asset kasi yung input pinang-o-offset mo doon sa output VAT. Okay? Sige. Classification of sales for VAT purposes. So, meron tayong ilan ba tong classification? VAT exempt sales, zero rated sales, at saka yung regular sales to government and government-owned and controlled corporation, at saka regular vatable sales. Sige. Regular sales. O, apat. Okay, isa-isahin natin. So first, dito tayo sa VAT exempt sales. So pag sinabing VAT exempt sales, these are exempt goods or services or those that are subject to percentage tax. Okay. So example, yung itlog, 'di ba? That is an exempt good. So that is considered as VAT exempt sales. Okay. So, ano ang pagkakaiba ng VAT exempt sales sa zero rated sales? Madi-discover natin 'yan as we go through this handout. Okay. Sa VAT exempt sales, since yung sales is considered as VAT exempt, wala din dapat na traceable input VAT. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang output VAT sa VAT exempt sales is zero at hindi ka rin pwedeng mag-claim ng input VAT. That is also zero. Okay? So, wala. Ibig sabihin, wala ka talagang babayaran. Output and input zero is exempt or zero. Okay? So, tignan natin yung illustration. During the month, a VAT-registered person sold and processed agricultural food products for 400,000, which he bought 150,000, which is a VAT-exempt transaction. Okay, so ibig sabihin wala talaga siyang input VAT kasi binili niya yan ng 150, walang VAT. Okay? And then binenta niya at 400, wala ding VAT. He also purchased 100,000 worth of supplies exclusive of 12,000 pesos input VAT, which was all used in connection with these sales. The following are recorded in the taxpayer's books. Okay. Nung nag-purchase siya ng inventory that is worth 150,000, so debit siya ng 150,000, and then bumili siya ng supplies na worth 100,000, di ba? 100,000 with input VAT na 12,000 pesos. Oh, teka sabi mo walang input VAT. Oo, yung supplies may input VAT, pero tignan natin kung anong mangyayari kung maki-claim ba natin yung input VAT na yan. Okay? So, in total, that's 262. Okay, pabenta siya. Debit siya ng cash, 400,000, and then credit siya ng sales, 400,000. Ngayon, ire-record niya na yung kanyang inventory, right? So, syempre, credit tayo dito ng, sige, ang cost of sales natin is 150,000 kasi yun din yung inventory na napuhunan sa inventory natin. Ang supplies expense natin is 112. Okay? Makasama na dyan sa 112 yung 100K na puhunan plus input VAT na 12K. Okay? Kasi nga, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-claim or mag-deduct ng input VAT from an output VAT. Wala tayong i-claim na input VAT sa VAT exempt sales. So, yung 12,000 na ginastos natin sa input VAT is considered irrecoverable. Hindi na natin mababawi. Thus, it will be added to your expense. Okay? And then, we have your inventory of 150,000. Ikikredit natin yung supplies natin na 100,000 at ikikredit natin yung input VAT na 12,000 pesos. So, anong nangyari? Okay? The 12,000 is nadagdag sa expense natin. Magkano ang total expense mo for this 400,000? You have 150 and 112. Okay? So, ano ang magiging VAT payable mo? Since this is a VAT exempt sale, ang output VAT mo is zero. Okay? Ang input VAT mo, even though meron ka dyan na input VAT na nakitang 12,000, that is still zero. Kasi kung titignan mo, na-offset na nalipat yung 12,000 dito sa expense mo. Okay? Um, naging operating expense mo siya rather than recoverable taxes. So, ang VAT payable mo for a VAT exempt transaction is still zero. Okay? Next, punta naman tayo sa zero-rated sales. Sa zero-rated sales, ang technique nyo naman dito, walang output VAT. Ang output VAT natin is zero. Wala. Lagay natin, wala. Ang input VAT, meron. Okay. So, anong magiging VAT payable natin? Ang VAT payable ninyo would be negative. Okay? O kasi meron kang ibabawas pero wala kang pagbabawasan. So, negative. So, this negative amount will serve as your tax credit later on. Okay? Zero-rated sales are sale of goods or services to non-residents. Ibig sabihin, export from Philippines papuntang abroad, non-resident, 'di ba? Nagbenta ka abroad. So exports ang kasama sa mga zero-rated sales natin is your export sales of goods or services and other sales conferred with zero rating with status by law. Okay? So for instance, nagbenta tayo ng dried mangoes. Wala tayong output VAT. Okay? Zero kasi in-export natin eh. In-export natin sa China. Export tayo nagpadala ha. That is zero. And then to produce these mangoes, of course mango is exempt kasi natural. Pero 'di ba meron siyang mga ingredients para mas mapasarap kunwari yung ating dried mango. So kunwari lang meron tayong mga purchases, okay? May nagamit tayong input VAT na 10,000 pesos. Oh, magkakaroon ka na ng tax credit na -10,000. Oh, magkaiba 'yan doon sa VAT exempt sales natin. Sa VAT exempt sale natin, ang output VAT wala, ang input VAT wala. May mapapala ka ba? Wala. Okay. Dito sa zero rated sales may tax credit ka. Happy ka dito kasi may pambawas ka sa tax. Okay. Ayun. A VAT-registered person exported goods for 400,000. These goods were purchased for 200,000 exclusive of 24,000 input VAT. Exclusive. Exclusive. So wala pa. Ang total purchase price niya is 224 pesos. Bakit ganyan? The following are recorded in the taxpayer's books. So, debit tayo ng inventory, 200,000 and then 12% niyan is 24,000 input VAT. So, this should be 224,000 pesos. Okay. Ngayon, nagbenta ka, nag-export ka ng goods. Naka-receive ka ng 400,000 and then credit ka ng sales, 400,000. And ngayon, kailangan mong i-record yung pagbawas sa inventory mo. Sa inventory mo, i-credit mo si 200,000 at cost of sales mo si 200,000. May floating ka pang input VAT, tama ba? Yung input VAT na yan, pag kinlay mo siya as refund, pwede mong gawing cash. So, in exchange of the input VAT na 24,000, debit ka ng cash, 24,000, and credit ka ng input VAT, 24,000. Pero kung gusto mong i-hold lang muna kasi hindi naman ganun kadali ang mag-claim ng cash from the BIR, lalagay mo siya as prepaid tax or prepaid tax asset, 24,000 and then credit ka ng input VAT. Ay, so parang naging asset mo siya. Kapag ano naman, kapag hindi mo siya kinlaim as refund, ayun, iko-close mo siya to output VAT kahit na zero rated ka naman. Pero sayang, 'di ba? Okey, so tatandaan ninyo ha, ang VAT exempt sales, zero ang VAT payable. Ang zero rated sales, negative ang VAT payable. And then, next puntan tayo sa sales to government and government-owned and controlled corporation. Okay. Sa sales to government and GOCCs is it also follows yung output tax na 12% natin based on sales. However, nagkakaroon tayo ng differences pagdating na sa input VAT. So, ang output VAT pagdating sa government-owned and controlled corporation is still at 12%. So, dapat meron din tayong input VAT. Okay? However, yung input VAT natin is composed of two components. 5% withholding VAT, ibig sabihin ito yung amount na i-withhold na ni government on behalf of the government. Yan, 5% final withholding VAT. Okay. So, ang assumption actually natin dito is that the 12% talaga yung input VAT natin, right? 12% rin ng purchases, okay? And then, ililess natin yung 5% final withholding VAT at saka magkakaroon tayo ng 7% na standard claimable input VAT or standard input VAT, okay? The 7% came from actually 12% less 5%, okay? So in totality, this is ang input VAT mo is still at 12%. Okay. So ngayon, meron ka pa bang VAT payable? Basically, wala ka ng VAT payable. Zero na yan. Okay? Wala ka ng babayaran kay BIR. Okay? Kasi una muna, yung 5% winithhold na ni government. Niremit niya na yan kay BIR. The 7% is parang, sige, wag na tayong mag-computan. Lagyan na lang natin ng 7% standard input VAT na makiklaim at na i-deduct dyan sa 12% mo. So, ang VAT payable mo will be considered as zero. Okay? So, tignan natin yung example. A VAT registered person, parang mas madali kasi 'to, kasi siyempre si government ayaw na niya mas ano kasi, mas madali yung pag-remit ng, pera kasi government ka-transact mo, eh. A VAT registered person sold goods to government agency for 400,000. These goods were purchased for 336, including 36 input VAT. The following are recorded in the taxpayer's book. Okay. So, ang inventory purchases natin is 300,000, input VAT of 36, and then credit tayo ng cash 336. Ito yung pagkakabili natin ng puhunan. Nakabenta tayo ng 400,000 worth of items. So 400,000 times 1.12, that is, tama ba? 400,000. Hindi, wait lang. 400,000 is inclusive pala 'to. Okay, credit tayo ng sales, 400,000, and then meron pa tayong output VAT. Okay. So, kumputan natin ng 12% VAT, 48,000. And then, ano ang babayaran sa atin ni government? Si government, magwi-withhold siya ng 5%. That is why 400 times 5% is 20,000. And then from the receivable natin na 448 nag-withhold siya, hinold niya yung 20,000, ang cash payment lang niya sa atin is 428. Okay. So, paano natin i-consider yan for accounting? Cost of sales natin is 300,000, and then credit tayo ng inventory 300,000. Iko-close natin yung input VAT natin na naka-debit, i-credit natin, and then yung output VAT natin na 48,000, i-debit naman natin to close. Okay? Yung creditable withholding VAT natin, iko-close din natin at 20,000. Okay? To balance it out, madadagdag yung difference na 8,000 sa cost of sales natin. Okay? So, dadagdag yan sa ating operating expenses. Okay? So, kung susumahin ninyo, ang output VAT natin is 48,000. Ang standard input VAT natin na na-claim natin against the output VAT is at 7%, which is 28,000, and then may winidhold pa sa atin na 20,000 pesos. So in short, wala tayong due and payable na ireremit pa for this transaction with the government. Okay? Sa regular sales naman, so ito yung hindi siya VAT exempt, hindi siya zero rated, hindi siya sales to government. Ang formula lang dito is output VAT minus input VAT, yun lang. Okay? So a taxpayer made sales of 100,000 exclusive of 120,000 output VAT and purchases of 800 exclusive of 96,000 input VAT. So kung kukumputin nyo yan, ang output VAT is 120,000, and then the input VAT na i-offset natin is 96,000, that is 24,000 ang ating VAT payable. Okay? Ayan o, yan ang ating VAT payable. Mas madali yung regular sales. Okay, recap tayo. Kapag VAT exempt sales, walang output, walang input. Pag zero rated sales, walang output, may input. Kapag um, sale to government and GOCCs, VAT payable is zero because meron tayong standard input VAT na 7% at nagwi-withhold sila sa atin ng 5% based on sales. And then for regular sales, we have output VAT less input VAT. Basically, pag itong regular sales usually is usually positive. Okay? So, pag exempt sales tayo, walang babayaran. Kasi nga, 0 - 0, edi wala. Pag zero rated sales, ang VAT payable mo negative kasi meron kang tax credit. Wala kang output, meron kang input. Sales to government, wala ka ring VAT payable. Okay? Pag regular sales, meron kang VAT payable. Bakit positive? Kasi syempre naman, mas malaki naman yung benta mo kaysa dun sa puhunan, di ba? So talagang positive yan. Okay? We also have other vatable sales. Sales of registrable person. Na-discuss na natin yung registrable person previously. Ito yung mga non-VAT taxpayer na na-reach nila yung threshold, pero hindi pa sila nag-registered as VAT registration even though they have meet the threshold. So, kailangan sila mag-remit ng output VAT pero hindi sila makakapag-claim ng input VAT. Next, sale of non-VAT taxpayer using VAT invoice or receipt. Non-VAT taxpayer ka pero nagbigay ka ng resibo na nakalagay VAT registered. This is actually illegal. Okay, so ano mangyayari? Bukod sa may penalties ka, um, kailangan mong i-remit yung nakolekta mong VAT from your customers. At the same time, kailangan mong mag-remit ng percentage tax kasi hindi ka nga VAT registered. Doble-doble pa, tas may penalty ka pa. Okay? VAT exempt sales billed by VAT taxpayers as regular sales. Pag exempt sales, dapat zero yan. Eh nagkataon hindi mo alam na zero yan. Nagbibenta ka ng bigas pero may VAT. Kailangan i-remit mo din yung VAT payable na wrongfully collected mo kay BIR. Hindi mo pwedeng ibulsa yun. They will be considered as regular sales. Okay? So, try nating mag-solve ibang ng some questions related to this topic. Okay. This is 30 questions and may serve as your reviewer. A sale to government shall not be billed with output VAT since it is exempt from VAT. Okay. Pag sale to government, meron tayong output VAT na 12%. Yun nga lang wala tayong VAT payable kasi saktong-sakto din na 12% din yung totality ng ating input VAT. Pero hindi siya exempt from output VAT. So this is false. Okay? Exempt sales shall not be billed without an output VAT. This is true. Exempt sales, ibig sabihin, hindi mo yan dadagdagan ng 12%. Shall not be billed with an output VAT. This is true. Okay? Next. A VAT payable on zero-rated sales is always zero. This is false. VAT payable on zero-rated sales is always negative. Hindi siya zero, negative. Okay? Kasi wala kang output, meron kang input. Okay? Exempt sales that are billed as regular sales o exempt sales, remember the bigas, nilagyan mo ng VAT, that are billed as regular sales should be considered as regular vatable sales. This is true. Kasi kapag nagkolekta ka wrongfully from an exempt sales, i-consider mo siya as regular vatable sales. Hindi mo pwedeng ibulsa yung 12% na yan. I-remit mo pa rin yan kay BIR. Okay? Which statement is generally correct? The VAT payable on regular sales is always positive. This is true. VAT payable on zero-rated sales is always negative. This is true. Zero-rated sales is negative. Both statements are correct. Okay. Output VAT on exempt sales is none. Output VAT, exempt sales, edi wala. O, pwede din naman zero-rated, 0% of sales, pero zero din yun eh. Mas better ito kasi yung 0% of sales is actually applicable for zero-rated sales. Okay? Pag exempt sales, output VAT is none. A VAT registered person is exempt from VAT on VAT exempt sales. VAT registered person ka pero may item kang VAT exempt. Okay? So exempt ka ba sa VAT? Oo naman for that sales. Okay? So even you are VAT registered kung yung item o SM tapos nagbebenta ng bigas, VAT exempt ang bigas, 'di ba? So, exempt din si SM dun sa pagbabayad ng VAT related to the bigas. Okay? This is true. Which is non-vatable? Non-vatable. Exempt sales billed by regular sales by VAT person, export sales of VAT registered person, um, regular sales of non-registrable person, export sales of non-VAT registered person. Actually, dalawa yung sagot ko dito. Export sales of VAT registered person kasi non-vatable naman talaga yon. And then yung export sales of non-VAT registered person kasi non-VAT siya. But the best answer for this one is ito. Okay? The number 9, a registrable person is exempt from VAT. Registrable person, na-meet nila yung threshold pero hindi pa sila nagpapa-register, VAT registered. Are they exempt from VAT? This is false. Hindi sila exempt, magbabayad po sila. Number 10, which is possible source of input VAT. Input VAT. Okay. Pag pinag-uusapan natin yung input VAT, kailangan galing din siya sa VAT sellers. Okay, binili mo siya sa VAT sellers. Unfair naman kay government kung mag-claim ka ng input VAT pero hindi ka naman bumili sa um, VAT registered sellers. So, ang sagot natin, purchase from VAT sellers is correct. Actually, correct din tong importation. Siguro guys, na-shuffle yung choices dito. But the answer here is both A and B. Assume nyo na lang, palitan na lang natin both B and C. Na-shuffle lang siguro yung choices. But the sources of output of input VAT here is purchases from VAT sellers at saka importation ha. Hindi ito. Mali yung choices. Na-shuffle lang yan. Okay? Question 11 of 30. Ang dami pala. No input VAT traceable to government sales can be claimed as tax credit. This is false. Kasi meron tayong input VAT na traceable to government sales, diba? That is the 7%. Remember the 7%? So this is false. A VAT registered person is liable to VAT on exempt sales and services specifically subject to percentage tax. Kung yung binibenta niya is subject to percentage tax, even you're a VAT registered person, you are no longer liable to pay VAT on those items. So this is false kasi sabi niya is liable. Dapat not liable. Okay? 13. What is the withholding VAT? What is subject to withholding VAT? Withholding VAT is automatically si client na yung nag-hold ng VAT mo. So this is applicable to sales to government. Which statement is incorrect? A VAT taxpayer who purchases goods from non-VAT suppliers will effectively pay VAT equivalent to the output VAT. Incorrect. This is correct. Nakalito naman, this is check. Kasi kapag bumili ka from a non-VAT supplier, ang babayaran mo lang yung output, syempre walang input. So this is correct. So hindi yan incorrect. Nakalito. Number 2. No output VAT shall be billed on export sales and exempt sales. No output VAT, output. Walang output VAT. This is true. So walang mali dito. So neither statement. Walang incorrect. Next. Standard input VAT is 5% of government sales. The answer is false. Should be 7%. 5% is the final withholding VAT. Pero wait lang ha. Wait lang guys ha. Ayan, ulit. Standard input VAT should be 7% of government sales. 5% is the final withholding VAT. And this is false. What is the business tax payable by a person who is VAT registrable? Okay. Pag VAT registrable, na-meet yung threshold, hindi nagpa-register. So, ang babayaran niya is output VAT. Wala siyang makiklaim na input VAT kasi hindi nga siya nagpa-register. Okay, so the correct answer here is output VAT. Sana tama yung pinagsasagot ko. No? Export sales shall be billed with output VAT. False. Zero rated to, di ba? Walang output VAT ang export sales. False yan. The claimable input VAT on government sales is claimable input VAT, 7%. 7% of sales. Okay? 7% of sales. Government sales. Claimable input VAT. Or yung standard input VAT na tinatawag. The export sale of a VAT taxpayer is an exempt sale. Export sale is an exempt sale. Ang hirap naman nito. This is actually a zero-rated sale. Sige, magfo-false ako. Pero tignan natin kung tama ako ha. But this is not an exempt sale but it is zero-rated sale, di ba? Export. Zero-rated dapat yan. This is false. No input VAT traceable to exempt sales can be claimed as tax credit o exempt sales. Pag exempt sales, no output VAT, no input VAT. Okay, so this is true. Okay. Which is not a sales category of VAT taxpayers? Exempt sales, sales to non-profit institution, sales to government, or zero-rated. So the correct answer is non-profit institutions. Di natin na-discuss yun. A VAT taxpayer cannot claim input VAT credit on sales to government meron, regular sales meron, exempt sales, zero-rated sales. The answer is exempt sales. Okay, sales to government, may output, may input. Regular sales, may output, may input. Exempt sales, walang output, walang input. Zero-rated sales, may walang output, may input. Okay, so the answer is letter C. The output VAT on government sales is 12% of sales. Okay? Non-VAT taxpayer shall not bill VAT on his sale. A non-VAT, oo naman. Hindi nga siya VAT taxpayer, bakit siya maniningil ng VAT? This is true. Shall not bill VAT. Okay. This is true. What is the VAT due and payable on regular sale? Di output less input VAT. O wag malilito, hindi totoo yung answer na may pinakamahaba. Output and input VAT. Claimable input VAT is 12% of purchases from claimable from VAT registered taxpayers. Oo, hindi ka pwedeng mag-claim ng input VAT from non-VAT registered taxpayer. Bakit may binayaran ka pang VAT doon? Non-VAT registered taxpayer nga sila eh. O di wala kang binayarang VAT doon. Sa VAT registered taxpayers ka lang. No input VAT is creditable on government sales. Meron pa ring input yan. Exempt sales. Yan, meron pa. Wala. Ito sagot. No input VAT. Export sales has input VAT kasi and regular sales has input VAT. So, exempt sales tayo. The VAT applies to receipt or sales other than those exempted in VAT applies to receipt other than those exempted and specifically subjected to percentage tax. This is true. And 29, which statement is correct. Input VAT is creditable only by VAT registered taxpayers. True. Input VAT is deductible by non-VAT registered taxpayers who disturb their gross income for income tax purposes. This is true. Remember yung supplies kanina? Di ba yung input VAT niya, hindi niya na-claim as credit, okay? Kasi ano siya VAT exempt. or exempt sales yon. So, yung input VAT magiging part ng operating expense. Idideduct niya yun sa gross income niya. So, this is true. Both statements are correct. And lastly, the claimable input VAT on government sales is 7% of sales. This is true. 5% final withholding VAT, pero yung claimable input VAT is 7%. Hala, sana ma-perfect natin. Ay, may mali tayong isa. Reviewin natin. Ito. The VAT payable. Okay. Talaga? Okay. Linawin ko to ha. Ang sagot ko talaga dapat dito. Hmm. 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 Hindi. Tama yung sagot natin dito. Kasi the VAT payable on zero-rated sales is negative, 'di ba? Pero kasi VAT payable. Uy, negative talaga 'yan. Zero-rated sales is negative. Ewan ko bakit. Siguro kasi wala ka talagang babayaran kaya zero. Pero sige, consider natin 'yun. Pero ako, ang sagot ko talaga dito is false. Should be negative. Oo, nasa handout niyo 'yun, eh. Tignan natin. Mhm. Ayan, oh. VAT payable zero-rated sales is negative. Oh, 'di ba? Mali siya. Hayaan niyo. So 'yun lang for VAT. Next video, we will be discussing more for output and input VAT. Okay, pagsabayin ko na lang sa isang video. Okay? Thank you.